Welcome everybody to Hoot Loot, where you come to be informed, be amused, but never be misled. We are truth in advertising, truth in financial media, no conflicts of interest, and we do not, unlike cable news, give you mental illness. Today's show is called Reddit Rebels Rest in Peace, which is why I'm at the cemetery and you can see the tombstone behind me. But first, before we get into that, I want more of you to join us because we love our audience. We are going to give away, we're going to bribe you. Let's face it, we're not going to give away, we're going to bribe you to be subscribers for the month of February. Anyone that has been a subscriber until the end of the month, we're going to start with a $200 giveaway. All right, $200, and some of you Reddit rebels probably could use that by now. So in any event, let's go to the charts in just a second, and we are ready to go. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to go to the charts in a second, but what we're going to do, this is now a third part of the Reddit Rebels. And if you missed the first two, please go back and watch them because these are all sequential. All right, now, first of all, I have been very specific about warning the rebels to take their money off the table before it took it off of them. And I'm going to give you an example of a different company than GameStop, because GameStop is now at $60 and it's going all the way to zero. If you didn't sell at 300, you didn't sell it at 90, you didn't sell it at 60, you're going to end up owning it at zero. Now, this is one where you got exactly the opposite of what you're trying to do, which is why I said, don't try this at home, folks. Now, Cost Corporation is basically a virtually bankrupt and heavily shorted family-owned company. So what happened? The family who owned the bulk of the shares sold them. They sold them right into those spikes that you see. And they walked out with a reported $300 million. And what did the Reddit rebels walk out with? Minus $300 million. Did you exactly achieve what you wanted to? No? Well, then keep watching. We're going to tell you exactly how to avoid things and why the market is so damn distorted right now. We have a great story to tell. All right, so let's go on to the next chart. And that would be the Dow Jones Industrials. Now, the Dow had a false breakout. It kind of looked like, well, you know, it sort of broke down a little bit, but not fully. And this very, very narrow trend channel that it's on in red is important because I'm going to show you why with the next chart. This is a 2-hour interval chart, so it shows a much shorter time frame, but look at how much you only need to lose from current levels of about 31,000 to roughly about 29,000 before you actually wipe out every single person that has been involved in the Dow in the last 4 months. That's what happens. It's like water pouring out of a pitcher. It just kind of just comes out, and goes boom. And the downside is always sharper than the upside. That is absolutely historically proven. Downsides occur in a waterfall quickly, bigger moves. And so, you know, once this thing breaks, it's going to break. And as you can see, it is right at the top, threatening to make a double top. So we're going to see how this thing goes. But I'd be very careful. You cannot buy low and sell high here. That's all there is to it. So there will be an opportunity, but it ain't here. All right. NASDAQ 100, same thing. Mixed results on it. We're going to go through this in a minute. We're going to tell you something about valuations that you will not believe. And no one else is telling you this stuff out there. This is researched and documented stuff that is going to blow you away. So let's go on to the next one. Small caps. Same thing, still making that little island up there, and they don't look too good either. And basically, this is a sign of speculative interest. All right. In other words, micro caps, small companies, penny stocks are all the rage right now. And those are typically the kind of plays that newcomers, people who don't know what they're doing, people who don't understand the market, they just chase the momentum. That is the wrong thing to do. It's the opposite of what you should be doing. So let me show you a little bit more, and here we go. Standard & Poor's 500, same thing, little bit of a false breakdown, but it is in a trend channel that is going to be wiped out the minute we start getting a waterfall decline. And you wonder when that's going to happen? It could happen anytime. So we'll see. This is Standard & Poor's 500, again, with 2-hour intervals. I didn't label it that way. But notice, first support is at 3,500. It's now at about 3,900. It only has to lose about 10% before it's wiped out every single person that has been transacting in it for about the last 4 months. So you've got to understand that when the market goes up, it tends to kind of chug along, but when it goes down, it absolutely is breathtaking, because once everybody's in, and they're all in, I can pretty much guarantee you that. I don't know anybody that's not interested in the market these days. How do I get rich quick? Oh God, if you're asking that question, you deserve to be in the graveyard with these guys. Anyway, here we go. Dow Jones Transportation. We've been talking about this one as being very important economically, and it's not looking too good either. It broke down, but it made a little bit of a recovery. I don't believe that recovery is anything other than a failed rally attempt. So we shall see why in a moment. US dollar. Here's a surprise. We've been talking about the dollar going down and all these dollars and dollars being printed with stimulus and this and that. Well, isn't it interesting that the dollar index is going up? That either means that we have higher interest rates that's attracting money in, or it means that dollar-denominated investments are becoming quite popular. Maybe because stimulus checks are being spent gambling. Basically gambling. If you want to gamble, I got some chips for you right here, because as I've told you before, the market is just an odds. It's just odds, and the house always wins if you don't be careful. All right, so yields on 10-year treasuries. No one's paying attention to this either. And look at that. We're making a new high. And as some people on a network I will not mention had to say, higher interest rates are good. No, they're not. Higher interest rates mean one thing only. The discount rate that you use to discount future cash flows has gone up, which means the asset is worth less. Okay? Higher interest rates help borrowers. They penalize higher interest rates penalize savers and help borrowers. What they do is they distort the economy through cheap money. So instead of having to produce a rate of return of, say, 15% to justify the cost of financing, now you got to justify 4%. And that is not a good rate of return. And when you think about all the misallocation of capital out there caused by this, you know that we are in for some major adjustment. 30-year treasury yields, look at that. They're exploding. And the thing is that when rates are this low, the impact on the value of the bond is magnified. It's like 1 to 2 is like 10 to 20. That is the math behind it, and that's what it is. So we see rates go from 1 to 2 or 2 to 4. We're going to see a hell of a decline in the capital value of bonds of all kind, and they will become more competitive with other investments like stocks, because stocks will be priced to yield to return a certain amount. So will bonds. They compete against each other. This is a Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Look at that. I'll bet you that you don't even know why Bitcoin trades where it does. Do you? Nobody on a network that I will not mention the name of does. As a matter of fact, one of their quote-unquote experts said, well, I don't really know why it goes up or down. Well, why is it valuable? Well, I'm not really sure. But I know it's really valuable. It's going to trade at $1 million a Bitcoin. Okay? Well, guess what? They don't know. And you are going to know exactly why Bitcoin has value. not today, but in a future segment, we're going to do nothing but cryptocurrencies like you've never seen before. You will understand exactly what they're all about. All right, here's an apple a day. Keeps the doctor away. Apple has a $2.4 trillion market cap. Do you know that $2.4 trillion market cap would place it in the top 8 of the world GDP's countries? It has a higher GDP. It's about equal to France. It's higher than Mexico. It's higher than Switzerland. It's it's higher than 188 separate countries. Apple stock trades for higher than the GDP of almost every country on the planet. All right? Same thing with Amazon. Amazon, Jeff Bezos left this week. They had a great earnings report, still looks pretty good, but it also is worth the same amount as Canada's GDP, believe it or not. You'd put Amazon at about number 10, all right? Facebook. Well, what we decided to do with Facebook today is we ran our fact checkers through, and let me put it this way. They didn't find any facts that they could check. They couldn't even get customer service because, as you know, Facebook is so famous for being so responsive. When you call and ask a question, gee, I'd like to know something, and you get a computer response. Great customer service with Facebook, but it's still worth almost $800 billion. All right, Google. Here's a company, honestly, looks like it's in a great uptrend. I have no complaints about this at all. The problem is you cannot buy high or buy low and sell high. So this is one you just have to pass on. If you buy this thing here, you risk the fact that you are buying high and praying that you're going to sell it to somebody even higher. That's called the greater fool theory. And believe you me, it does hold water, it does hold merit. All right. Microsoft, another great pattern. Microsoft, the famous company for all those Windows and headquartered at 666 Bellevue Avenue in Washington, D.C. And but still a very bullish pattern. Qualcomm. Qualcomm actually is looking like it's turning over. It is a high flyer and it is benefiting from a supposed chip shortage, which is why I brought these chips right here, because I figured there aren't enough chips to supply, then I might as well add some. So here's some chips right here. You can only eat just one. Oh God, is that awful? Anyway, so Qualcomm doesn't look too good. Tesla, this one is the joke of the century. Elon was supposed to be here a little while ago. He loves to stop by and talk about pot and talk about how cool he is and everything else, and he won't give up those damn vapes. But I'll tell you this, Tesla's financials are fiction. I would avoid this at all costs. Tesla would be in the top 15 of all countries. It's that amazing. A car company whose executives quit regularly, they sell their stock and they quit. There are more insider sales than there are of almost any company. And this is one. Tesla one day is going to have an event. Suddenly the light will go off. The light bulb will go just like this, bing, and Tesla is going to be nowhere to be found except underground. But I will say this, it does have some value, but it's not more valuable than the economies of, all but 15 countries. It really isn't. So, that's the part that is the incredible comparison right there. I would avoid it. And the reason I'd avoid it, I have no idea where it's going, and neither do you. If you think you do, I'll bet you don't, because basically Tesla is just one that no one understands. No, everyone that follows it either hates it or loves it, and it was the short interest which helped Tesla get ahead. And also, let's put it this way, I'm not even sure if they make any money, but I will say one thing about Tesla. They are not necessarily the most eco-friendly car, but thank God the Chinese have taken over manufacturing of the batteries, so all the pollution is theirs and not ours. Thank God for that, at least. Costco Wholesale, another important company. One of the big four retailers, looks like it's breaking down, rounded top. This is not what you want. Retail is 70% of GDP. If you're going to grow, you've got to do it through retail and spending. And that's the problem. The stimulus checks, which are supposed to go to help people spend, they're investing them in stocks. That's my theory anyway, and it sure as hell holds up. The inflation that should be occurring in the real economy is occurring in the financial economy. No difference, because the financial economy is going to come right back to equilibrium where it belongs. Okay, next chart, FedEx. FedEx, another company that transports goods. It is highly, highly correlated to the economy, and all the goods that you buy online, again, the consumer. This company is going down. This company has completed, it looks like, a rounded top, and I wouldn't be too keen on holding it at this point. You cannot buy this company low and sell high. Hospital Corp of America. Isn't it great when the flu is good for business? I mean, let's face it, there are so many vaccines and treatments and doctors and payments and this and that. Apparently, influenza A has gone this year. I don't know why. Where is it? Nordstrom's, one of the 4.5 retailers. I consider it the half. And it's now completed its rounded top. It looks like it's about to break down. Again, this is not a good sign. Stellantis. Now, I don't understand where they got this name. This used to be Fiat Chrysler, and now it sounds like praying mantis to me. And there's no brand name. It's making a rounded top too. Fiat is not exactly known for making great cars, reputationally, but it's in a parabolic growth phase because everything is, and everything is in short supply everywhere. So this is a company that I don't get. Honestly, I don't get. I don't think this thing is going to last very long because I'll tell you this, there's no money to buy cars right now. There really isn't. UPS, another company that is a major transportation company. And as you can see, rounded top. They may have those cool brown trucks, but there's only so many goods that they can ship around, and this is another sign that the consumer is tapped out. Visa, another sign the consumer is tapped out. Credit card debt continues to go up, so people are living off of credit cards, they're living off of stimulus checks, they're living off of everything but producing goods at all. And you only become wealthy in an economy by producing goods. If you don't have goods, you don't have an economy. And that's all there is to it. So, Walmart, welcome Walmart shoppers to last product. Because Walmart too, big company, Dow company, owned by the famous Walton family, the most generous family on planet Earth, true philanthropists, but not doing so hot. And another one to go down. All right, now we're going to take a look at some of the sectors and what's doing well and what's not. Broker dealers. Isn't this interesting? Broker dealers are going to come out still. There's a full calendar of what they call unicorns. Those are placements of new stock at $1 billion or more. One of which is going to be SpaceX. And who owns that? My good buddy Elon. Now, I don't know in what state he was when he talked about shuttling people to Mars and back, but I gotta tell you this, he's got a waiting list. He's got a waiting list. People actually think they're gonna go to Mars thanks to SpaceX. And the guy can't even, his rockets have blown over in one of the launch sites. So I don't think so, Elon, and I don't think you're going to the moon, other than you're kind of loony. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. He's kind of a genius, but he's got to eat up those apes. All right, biotechnology index. Here's an interesting one. You want to get in the business of vaccines? At latest count, there were something like 10, 12, 30, 40, 50, I don't know many vaccines, but almost every drug company is working on one. So how do you know which one to take? How do you know? And they're all different, okay? You can't distribute the same vaccine by different companies. They're not making the vaccine that Pfizer's making, okay, that was the first to come out. Moderna, also making a vaccine, first to come out. Those have already had side effects and including death. So who has the liability here exactly? Does a doctor? The doctor says, hey, I think you should take so-and-so's vaccine. You die. Is the doctor liable? Or, or do you have to put a label on it? This may kill you. Gee, that gives me a lot of confidence right there. Honestly, I think I'll pass. Big oil. One of my faves, but they're not doing so hot either. And that's another sign the economy is just kind of grounding to a halt. And it's doing it very slowly, very surely. Oil services, another one that is related to the oil industry. These are drillers. Again, they're not coming back. They are just floundering around, and you need a healthy demand for oil. Most of the price of oil anyway is taxes. So they're not really actually doing so hot. And there was not too long ago, Exxon and Chevron were two of the largest 10 companies. And believe it or not, there are reports that they're going to merge. So we're going to have a super mega oil company at some point. And this is the old Standard Oil that J.D. Rockefeller had broken up. If you put all of the standards together, you'd have a company bigger than Apple, worth more than Apple, believe it or not. Big Pharma, what do I say about it? Big Pharma, they're always happy. They're always smiling. They always have drugs to sell you, but unfortunately, they're legal drugs because the government has deemed them so. So your favorite drug dealers out there, they're always going to make money because if they give you a vaccine that causes side effects, you just run right back and you get some more meds. Perfect. Love it. Keep people drugged out. That's how you keep them under control. All right. So here we go. And it's making a 5-point reversal. This is an area right here, the Dow Jones REIT index. Now, an REIT is a real estate investment trust. And a lot of people are wondering, where's real estate going? Look at this. It's about to break out. Real estate is actually about to break out, despite the fact that there's a surplus of homes and everything else. The thing is, with the REIT index, it's tax advantaged, and it is a very, very, very indicative of a weakening dollar to come. They're only going up because they produce a yield, a compounded yield over time, tax advantage. But look at this place. We're going to keep our eyes on it, and we're going to show you some possible buys as early as next show. iShares Silver Trust, again, what do I say? Reddit Rebels, you were so good for about 5 minutes. And unfortunately, you kind of let things get back to where they should have been, and that's it. So there we go. The Barrick Gold is not going up. That tells you that it was all silver and it was all Reddit Rebels. Gold, unfortunately, we've been pumping it, we've been talking about it, but there is no reason right now to own gold. And I got to tell you, you cannot let your worldview, my worldview was precious metals are going up, dollars are floating everywhere, but nonetheless, the charts don't lie. Gold's not going up. Not yet. Hecla Mining, another place where the Reddit Rebels did their thing, bought too high and lost their shirts, and they gave a lot of people a chance to get out and profit because the Reddit Rebels, that's a tongue twister, I'm sorry, but the Reddit Rebels were unable to really hoist this thing too far. And so what did they do? They basically gave away money to a bunch of people who are institutional investors. Thank you very much, I am sure, but it's very nice of you to do that. Not necessary. Eldorado Gold. Now this one's going up. Now the reason I included this in the chart is because it is acting differently than any of the other precious metals companies. And it just may be an acquisition target. This is the kind of action you would see before an acquisition. I'm not saying there is one. I don't know of one. But why else would it be going up when no other precious metal company is going up at this time? Core mining, oh my God, look at this thing. I mean, what a mess. But again, Reddit Rebels, you did it to me again. Here we go. All right. Paramount Gold and Silver. We are at, this is the perfect example of taking your money off the table before the table takes your money off of you. First of all, you cannot short a stock under $5. So if you think that you were doing a short squeeze, Rebel Reddits, you are just giving money away. And thank you very much. Wheaton Precious Metals, Head and Shoulders. As you can see, the boxes show you another rounded pattern, rounded top that tells you precious metals are done. Your monogold, same thing. Okay, so now we're going to get to the part that gets me really high, and that is the cannabis sector. The pot has the most potential I've ever seen. This is the only sector where you can buy low and sell high. Aurora Cannabis, look at that chart. It begs you to come hither and buy. But the thing is, be careful, because once it's spiked like that, it has a tendency to reverse on a dime, and you might be one of those people that bought it, saw it immediately drop, and be careful. You want to pick your spots, but it has a long way to go. Afria, now combined with Tilray, the largest cannabis company, and again, take your money off the table before the table takes your money off of you. Yeah, you could have sold it higher. Oh darn, I could have sold it higher. Be grateful. Be grateful that you made a profit. Look at all those Reddit rebels that are in that graveyard back behind me. And you know what happens to people that get too greedy. All right? Canopy Growth, same thing. This company is going to go places, but right now is not the right time. This is the time to take your money off the table. Tilray, my favorite, also take your money off the table. GW Pharmaceuticals, medicinal marijuana. This thing broke out on high volume, and that tells you it's going somewhere. And this has both health benefits and it has marijuana benefits. And God knows we need to be somewhat inebriated in this environment just to be able to tolerate the insanity that we deal with. So with that, I want to thank you very much for tuning in. Once again, remember, we are going to give away $200. We're going to bribe you to watch this program and learn so you don't make the kind of mistakes that buried the Rebel Reddits, although we salute you, but we hate to see you be martyrs for the cause. Next show, we look forward to you. Click, subscribe, and like, and enter our contest for $200. $200. And I will see you next time. We love you. Keep sending those letters in.